Welcome to the only place where real, raw, and vulnerable conversations happen with IFBB Bikini Pros to give you an inside look at their struggles, strategies, mindset, passions, and all of life beyond the stage. This podcast is made to inspire, motivate, and remind competitors and the average gym goer that even the most extreme lifestyles and elite athletes have their ups and downs. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm your host, Celeste Rains-Turk, and now it's time for the Confessions of a Bikini Pro podcast. Today, we are speaking with a full-time registered nurse at UT Southwestern in Dallas, working with a surgeon in the head and neck cancer clinic who won her pro card at the 2024 Universe in the over 60 age group. She has a rich history in bodybuilding, beginning with her first competition back in 1992. After that, she took many years off and competed again in figure in 2005. And also competed in the Natural Federation, where she received a pro card in 2010 before taking another hiatus to start back up in 2023 in the NPC, of course, with the support of her boyfriend, Scott, and her sister, who doubles as her bestie. Same with mine. Love that. And even your dog, which is so great. So welcome to the show, Joanna Bolt. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you so much. I am doing terrific. That is a wonderful intro. And let me say, Celeste, I forgot to mention this before. I do want to mention this. I want to say you are so articulate and you embody the essence of what, the bodybuilding community needs. This mental health, the building more than just a body. You're just like this beacon of hope in the community. And I wish I had you back in 92.
Aww.
So thank you for having me. Thank you for having this podcast.
Wow, that's so amazing. Thank you for saying that. I got a little hot, to be honest with you. I feel so honored to hear that, and I'm grateful, and I hope to continue to make that mark, and I'm thankful I get to do this. And I know you and we've actually met. We're talking, like, obviously, but to those who don't know this, we actually met back at the women's workshop. We were hanging out in our friend's hotel room, which actually you were sharing the hotel room with them. So It was a really fun time. We had a nice little evening, a lot of laughs, and it was just great. So you already know what to expect from this first question.
Well, it was like a slumber party. That's what it was. It was so much fun. It was so nice meeting you. So anyway.
It was wonderful. It was so wonderful. That's why I was so excited to have you on too. And I was so happy for you when you won your pro card. I was like, of course, we have to have you on.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. So let me ask you, is there anything you do or think about, or maybe a ritual you have right before your heel hits the stage?
Oh, yeah, I love this question because it just brings out so much in people when they answer you. So yes, actually I do. I think rituals are so important. They kind of settle you. And so I have actually two of them that I do. The one is the morning of a show, I will take a little time and I have this little prayer that my mom gave me. And it's the prayer for St. Jude Thaddeus. And it's kind of funny. It's a prayer for people who have no other hope. And that's not what I'm trying to exude, but what it is it just, my mother gave it to me, before, I would say before a gymnastic meet or a big test in grammar school and things like that. So I've always had that. So I say that little prayer ahead of time. I've got it written down. And then and that kind of settles me. And then right before I go on the stage, I turn to whoever's around me. That's usually my 60 and older group. And I say, good luck, everyone. We're going to do a great job. I always say we because it's like we're a team. And then before I even step foot on that stage, I say, okay, God, it's you and me alone. And then I go. And that kind of centers me on this is my job now and he's helping me.
I love that. Have you always had strong faith?
It's stronger now than it's ever been. I was raised Catholic. I always had a belief that never wavered, but I'm really getting into understanding and listening to some Bible podcasts just to learn a little bit more. And it's bringing out some very good qualities in me that I wanted.
Love that. I can say the same thing. Like I started to really explore my relationship with God, and then I joined this Bible study in my neighborhood and have learned so much of like the actual biblical stories. And like yourself, a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of like anything that was theology and talking about the actual stories, the history, the context. It's enlightened me so much and it's really strengthened that faith. So I love to hear that from you too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It has.
So that's awesome. You bring that into the moment too, which is so grounding. And we have to have some sort of anchor. I mean, from a performance perspective, having a pre-performance ritual does generally anchor us into what we've been practicing, especially if we do that while we're practicing or while we're in prep. You continue to maintain that relationship or you are encouraging others consistently
Mhm.
to have that right before you go on stage would elicit the same type of response.
Well, right. I like to be prepared, and part of preparation is having that ritual. I think it's important to have that so that you can calm yourself. And it's the same thing, like I said, a ritual. It's the same thing every single time, and then you can concentrate on the things that you might not have as much control over, because you know that you're doing everything you possibly can. That was your habit.
Oh, that's such a good point too. There is a lot we can't control, even though we'd like to control it all. There's
Oh yeah.
yeah, like we cannot control who's stepping on stage with us. We cannot control what the judges are going to think. We can't even control how the lighting's going to look on our skin. A lot of those things we just can't expect or predict.
No, you're right. You're right. So it's you got to prepare. I'm very, very good at preparing. People a lot of times they think, oh, you're smart or you're this or that, and I don't know if I am. What I do know is that I prepare for such events where leaving no stone unturned. Bodybuilding is great for that because if you cook all your meals and you've got them weighed out and you have your water and you check off all your boxes, as they say, there that's when you have your success the most, is when you have all those things set in place. But you know.
Yeah, you're less likely to get thrown off course too. Like
Mhm.
if something were to happen, I personally remember I was in prep 2020, house caught fire. I grabbed peak week, grabbed my bikini, my heels, my computer, and I had all my meals all ready for the week in the fridge and I grabbed them. And I was like, I'm getting on that stage 2020 because it was such a nightmare year. But had I not been prepared, obviously, okay, my family was out there. It's not like I was like, oh, bikini is for everything. These things were also taken care of.
your
Let me
your passport's gone. Hey, everything's gone, but you got your bikini.
it's true. Yeah,
Oh my gosh, you
yeah.
poor thing. Well, good for you.
Thanks.
You know.
It was really fun. I remember telling JM backstage at that or at the athlete meeting at that show what I've been through, and he's like, "That's awesome." And he took a picture of me, and my smile was so big. He allowed me to remove the mask for that, and it was awesome. It was a good moment. It was like really gratifying, but it speaks to the commitment and the ability to be prepared, especially in this sport. What I love about it is that it allows you to focus on other areas of your life because this is really organized and because you're taking care of yourself in this. But you've been doing this for a very long time. So let's go back 30 years to you competing in 1992. And for context to people, that was one of the years that Lenda Murray won the Miss Olympia title. So I want people to conceptualize like the timing of that. So what even got you into the sport in the first place?
Oh my gosh. Thank you for that question. Because I go over in my mind, what got me here? And actually, it was the wrong thing that got me into this, but it's the right thing that's keeping me here. But why did I get into this? So back in 92, it might have been even earlier than that, well, around that, I saw Pumping Iron 2, the women.
Mm-hmm.
Great. That should be Everybody should see that movie. It should be mandatory for any female bodybuilder anyway, or bikini. Anyway, what I saw in the movie was very interesting. You know, these girls were built beautifully, beautiful bodies, and competing and all that. Well, one of the things that stood out the most out of all the things in that movie was at the very end of their show, they all went backstage and had ice cream. They just were eating ice cream, and I thought, oh my God, to have that freedom to eat ice cream without guilt, because I did not have an eating disorder, but I did have disordered eating. And what I mean by that is I just love junk food, and I would eat a whole bunch of junk food. And then I would not eat anything for a long time and do a lot of cardio. And I understand you did something similar to that.
Yeah.
So I just didn't get the whole food thing. Like, if I ate nutritiously, I always felt I was eating too much, but yet eating the bag of cookies was not bad. I don't know. So
Mhm.
anyway, I wanted that feeling. As crazy it might be, like I wanted to eat something that was not healthy and not feel guilty about it.
Huh.
So I started looking into the bodybuilding thing, and I had moved from I was in Chicago at the time, and then I had moved to California, and I was like, I'm going to watch a bodybuilding show. Watched it, wanted to met some people, then had this coach that did bro bodybuilding,
Yeah.
chicken and broccoli for I don't know how long. There was not one, you didn't get anything else, just chicken and broccoli. I don't know how I didn't
Yeah.
get a food allergy or something. I lost so much weight. And all I kept on thinking was how big and vast the grocery stores were. And all I can have is chicken and broccoli.
Totally.
But anyway, so I did compete in a couple of shows, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun because you saw your body changing. It was just crazy. And back then you got painted. You had a paintbrush that you
Oh,
painted
wow.
yourself. You didn't have the beautiful spray tan. Um, and then so I did that. And then there was nobody ever heard about reverse dieting.
Oh,
So
no.
what you did is you just ate afterwards, and
Mhm.
you ate and ate. So I did two shows. I ate, I gained weight, but I always had that. And that always identified me with people that I was working with, like, oh, Joanna competed. Oh, Joanna knows how to diet. Um, she's been up on stage. So even though I didn't look the part anymore, I still had that validity with me. But so then that was it. I gave it up because I thought, well, I can't. I mean, it's impossible to diet again because I still had that mentality of not enough, not enough, scarcity. So fast forward to moved out of California. I was there 17 years, had a great career and all of that in nursing. And then I went to Colorado. We moved to Colorado. I was married at the time, moved to Colorado. And I was like, what am I going to pick up? Nothing interests me like bodybuilding did or gymnastics, because my first love was gymnastics. And I
Mhm.
did that when I was younger and loved it. And I've always been athletic, but nothing gave me that obsession. And so we get to Colorado. I'm like, what am I going to pick up? Bowling. I don't know if I like bowling. I hate swimming. I don't want to be not a swimmer. So it turns out I see on the cover of a magazine, Christine, and I forgot her last name. But anyway, she was a figure competitor, and she had a
Mhm.
pretty suit on and everything. And I grabbed that and I read it. And the coach was in the article, called the coach. I said, I want to compete in figure. And so she got me ready for a show. And that's how it all started with the NPC. And that was around 2004, 2005.
Wow.
And then I worked with her. But back then, you didn't work with people year round. Back then, you do whatever you wanted on the off season. And then about 12 weeks before your show, you hired somebody. So the beauty of that was I had Kim Odo as a coach. I had Mike Davies as a coach. I had Lane Norton as a coach. Sarah Hurley, who was a physique competitor and also a figure competitor. I had the best of the best and learning from the best and just getting as much information as possible from them. They were so open and so wonderful. great experience. But what happens is all I wanted to do is compete because that was fun. So I never had any growth. It was Joanna's size 24/7. Then off season, you would gain weight, then you get back on track on 12 weeks before. So it was, that's how it was. And nobody even
Yeah.
talked about off season other than just lift heavy. But we had a really good group in Colorado. The gym was a smaller gym up in the mountains, but we had a group of like 4 or 5 girls that competed. I was one of them that we just played around with each other and competed. And I did so many shows because all I wanted to do was show after show after show.
Yeah.
And at that time, I'm looking back thinking, how did I afford that? But it must have not been that expensive because I went to the Arnold Amateur. I went to the Cayman Islands. I mean, I was all over the place.
Wow.
Um, but now I'm thinking, I need a GoFundMe page just to get to some of these shows. Anyway, so I did that. But what I did is I wore myself down. And what I did is in 2011, I had to have spine surgery.
Oh, wow.
Um, Yeah, I wore myself. Oh my God, I beat myself down and beat myself down. And that's one of my problems is I overwork, like if one is good, 52 is better.
Mm.
So I pushed and pushed and pushed until one day my back just gave out. And I was getting spasms here and there over like a 3 month period. And then all of a sudden it went out and I was in San Diego at a football game and I've never had such pain in my life. So we somehow got on a plane, got home to uh actually, yeah, was it Colorado? Let me see. No, I had just moved to Texas in 2011. And so I, by the grace of God, I got a job at UT Southwestern.
Mhm.
And I started January 1st, and my benefits started January 1st.
Oh, wow.
My back went out December 24th. So I was in orientation thinking, am I going to be okay? Can I sit? Can I stand? And then it got so bad that on January 13th, I had my spine surgery. It was a discectomy. And it was just one of those miracles. It's like I got the best doctor in the world for my back. He happened to have an opening that Friday. I got in. Now, prior to that, I was crying my eyes out for 3 weeks because
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm going to be um, a paraplegic because I could barely move. For somebody that was so athletic, all of a sudden going to where I think I'm going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life, looking at YouTube of people who had surgery and couldn't walk again, people who had a cane. I mean, I was like, oh my gosh. So this doctor performed a miracle. I felt great right afterwards. For like 5 months, I had spasms, but they were getting less and less. And then I said to God, I said, okay, I know I overdid it. I know I did it. I swear, if you get me out of this, I will never, ever, ever do something stupid like this again and overwork myself. So I promised myself when it was like May 5th, and May 5th, bam, I stopped having spasms. So in June, I kind of walked on over to the gym and I promised myself, you're going to see if you can sit down on the bench and you're going to see if you could do a lateral raise. One lateral raise. And I said, and then you're going to go home because this is what you have to do because your brain doesn't work this way. So I did one, I was able to sit without a spasm. I did one lateral raise. I put it down and I got out of that gym and I was so proud of myself because normally I'd push, 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 push. And I already made that promise. Um, so I felt like I had grown as an adult finally.
Mhm.
But then I stayed away from weights. I stayed away from all of that. As an adult, I got into, ballet and tried to do that, kind of pushed myself a little bit too much with ballet. That's my MO. And got out of that. And then I decided, one of the people that I stayed current in Facebook and then in Instagram was Janet West.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'd see her and I'm like, wow, she's not embarrassing herself. She looks so gosh darn good. But if I did this, I think I would embarrass myself because, who wants to see a 60-year-old in a bathing suit? And then it clicked. That wasn't the point. That's
Mm.
not the point of all this. It wasn't about me looking sexy. It's about me getting to the level of athleticism where you feel like you've got control over your body, your mind, your soul, all that.
Yeah.
So thank you, Janet. But and that's what I did. I found a coach and I started doing a transformation because I thought I was far enough off that I needed transformation first.
Okay.
And then I did that for like 9 months. And I said, do you think I can get on stage? And, I had talked to my boyfriend about that, Scott, and my sister. And my sister already laughs at me because she says, if you told me you were going to the moon as an astronaut, she goes, I would say, when are you leaving? Because
Yeah.
I come up with these things and she's like, okay, that's impossible. But my sister's done it before. So there you go. But
Nice.
my boyfriend was so supportive. And I thought for sure he was going to say something like, don't do it. Or what are you doing that for? Don't you have enough now? And so I thought that's what I'm going to do. So I competed in June of 2023 in Dallas. Great experience. And then I just kept on going. And then I couldn't believe it. This past year, I got my pro card, which was, make no mistake, all I thought about was a pro card back in 2005. I mean, that was my whole existence. And when I didn't get it, I'm like, and this is in the NPC, I should say, and not an IFBB. It was just so devastating to me. And I'm like, well, yeah. And of course, it's all my fault because I didn't grow. I stayed
Yeah.
the same tiny girl. But now, so now in Bikini, I was able to make that happen in the 60 and the plus age group. And I'll be competing in Masters Worlds in Pittsburgh in a week and a half.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's my whole life story right there, Celeste.
You crushed that. That was so easy to follow. And I was like very engaged. Wow. There's so many. And I was taking some notes because there's different things I want to go back to. First of all, the spray tan was painted on. That for some reason stood out to me. Uh, painted tan. What was painted on the body? Are you a competitor looking to make mental gains and further your personal development? Are you struggling with the post show blues or feeling the pressure of prep? Maybe you're lost somewhere in the middle and not sure what's next. If you really want to make peace with food, your body, and your goals, then I highly recommend you check out my competitor card deck, which can be found at www.celestial.fit/cards. This is a free resource for competitors, and the deck includes 3 different series. One is affirmations and I am statements, another is the thought-provoking question prompts that you could journal on or just think about, and the last deck includes action steps with specific mentorship that is going to support you in those areas of which I just mentioned. So whether you're looking to feel better in your own skin, develop a healthier relationship with food, feel more motivated, connect deeply with yourself, or really get into your mindset to bring you closer to your goals, then these cards are for you, and I would love to see you utilizing them. Again, you can visit www.celestial.fit/cards to download yours right away.
So you had your, I guess it was a tan in a bottle, and you poured it into a bowl.
Okay.
And then you took the foam paint brushes you get at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Foam, yeah. You do that, and you
Roll
slide.
it
Now,
on.
but the problem is it left streaks, and so you'd
Yeah.
have to make this streak. You'd have to make that streak, but then you'd have to touch up that streak in between. Do you know what that's like on a human body? By the time your arm hurts, your neck hurts, your this hurts, and then it would never really look all that great. Now I'm looking at Protan now. It's hard to make a mistake with Protan. They've come such a long way. But I used to paint other girls, and I mean the backside was so hard. And then drying took a good 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Like you were like this for 35 minutes. You had to put your hands on something so that you wouldn't get exhausted. And then you'd be 2 or 3 coats, and then finally you get on stage. So it was tough.
That
It's
is
so
a
fun.
lot. Yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you what else was tough. That was before you had any of those little headphones and phones that you
Right.
can listen to music. I had to hold a CD like holder so it wouldn't skip as I'm doing cardio, and it would skip and you would hear some songs you wouldn't hear. And of course, I know all of your listeners are thinking, okay, uphill both ways in the snow. There's Joanna. And I'm like, no, but it's funny to hear or see how we've evolved and how now cardio is fun. I'm listening to podcasts. I'm watching YouTubes. They're so inspirational. These people are incredible. I love all these YouTubes. So it's so much nicer now. It's a nicer way to compete.
Whoa. Okay. So I love this because it's easy to lose perspective when you're like, you've only ever done it one way. You've only ever done it with wireless headphones, or you've only ever done it with
Yeah.
YouTube channels to watch. So, what an amazing like comparison or a side by side of this is how it was. Also, going back to your earlier point about the chicken and broccoli, that was like the only way, and no off seasons. Sadly enough, even all these years later, sometimes that's still what people are doing. Despite
Right.
all the resources, all the information, and all the knowledge we have now, some people still approach it that way, which is unfortunate. You
Mhm.
also described having gone through disordered eating behaviors prior, and bodybuilding was like, which when you said that you were watching that movie and then at the end, like they're eating, at the end of their competition, they're eating the ice cream and you wanted to eat it guilt-free. All I could think was, I bet all of them were like so upset when they gained maybe a certain amount of weight or they weren't looking the way that they previously looked. And so
Mhm.
it's interesting our perspective from the outside. And now you fast forward, it was probably 2017 that reverse dieting really became a thing that was discussed
Mhm.
or known about, which I think is also indicative of the evolution with social media and content. Like it was just more accessible to know about it too, I think. Um,
Well, yeah, to your point, so I remember when I said I was trained by Lane Norton.
yeah.
So I'm telling you, a gift. These are gifts I got. Kim Odo, and talking on the phone with Kim Odo
Mhm.
like on a every other week basis. I mean, he was on it. Mike Davies, he had little camps that you went to, and then Lane Norton. I went with him, and what was unusual is he was talking about reverse dieting just as I was working with him for one show, and he said something to the effect of, "We can increase your calories," describing it. And it
Yeah.
didn't dawn on me until like 10 years later. I'm like,
Yeah.
he was the one that mentioned reverse dieting and how you can do that. And I thought, how interesting. I mean, how did he think of that? And I don't know if he was the one who invented it. I thought he was the one who invented it, that dreamed that up,
Mhm.
whatever, or started that. I'm not sure,
Me
fact
neither.
check me, please. But just incredible, because prior to that, and I didn't say, I was at Gold's Gym Venice during
Oh,
that time of the Flex Wheeler and all that stuff.
yeah.
And that's when bro bodybuilders, they were just there and pumping. And so the vibe was really interesting. And you could sit from above and do your cardio and look at the landscape of all the
Yeah.
bodybuilders. Now it was an incredible thing. That was in its heyday.
That's
Very, very
so
interesting.
cool. I love
Yeah.
that.
Mm.
It's so amazing because it's the same even now when you go. You see a little bit more like general population too, but like it's the same. You go and you're up and you're doing your cardio and you see certain people or you're walking into one room and they're posing over there. Like
Yeah.
it's not the same people, but it's the same people, you know?
The culture of it,
Yeah.
and you're serious, and it's just a rite of passage almost, that you go there to see where it all began or all that. And then that little restaurant that's right around the corner,
The
Firehouse,
Firehouse Cafe or
best
something.
chicken in the whole world. But yeah, yeah, I remember all of those great things.
Well, I also grew up in Southern California, and funnily enough,
Mhm.
yeah, I never went to Venice Beach like the actual Gold's Gym there until like I don't even remember what year, but it was like right before I left. And I went with Alexa Stimp she's with the Shoe Fairy. So she owns
Oh,
the Shoe Fairy.
yeah.
Yeah. So we
Great
went
product.
together and I remember I was like, this is so crazy. I've lived here my whole life and I've never come here. So it was really fun. And now just the culture in general with competing has changed so much, but also remained the same. Like so much is the same, but so much is different. Like there's
Mhm.
more knowledge, there's more education, all those things we talked
Yeah.
about. There's also more companies, there's more opportunities. There's also less opportunities, right? You're not just getting on a magazine cover and earning all these coaching clients. There's a lot more competition in that regard as well. Um, and it's so much more popular now too, and more accessible to people in some regard that
Mhm.
it's like, oh, it's almost more normal. Whereas when you started, it was still fairly new, especially for women. It was probably only about 10 years old at that point.
Yeah, there was only bodybuilding back then, and which was fine with me because I
Right.
loved it. And then and then figure came, and I thought, okay, well, that's better for me anyway. But yeah, it has really evolved. One of the things I really like, and it could have been me, I don't know. I love the culture now of the girls, the women, I should say, women athletes. They are so nice. They are so kind, and that's another reason why I got into it, because I started looking online and I see the social how, the community has
Yeah.
gotten so they're so everyone is so nice, and I don't remember it being like that, and it could
Mhm.
have been me. Maybe I didn't get myself out there, but with the social media and everything, I really noticed that people want to include you. They want you to be their friend. They trust you. They care for you. There's none because really, if you think about it, it's not them against me. It is the judges. Let's
Yeah.
blame the judges. If I don't win, I'm not going to blame the people next to me. But the judges are the ones making the decision.
It's
It's
true.
not, better, worse. So you have to really remember that when you're competing. Like these are your friends. These are the people that get you, that understand you, and it's the judges that are making that judgment. And then you just improve, and then you don't have a problem. So yeah, but the social media really highlighted some of the great qualities in people.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
would agree with that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the rivalries they still exist, but they're
Yeah.
not like they used, it's like there used to be like really, serious, like I want to fight you on stage. But it's not. Now it's like everybody's like hugging and kissing on stage, basically, just excited to support each other. And um, you know, in comparison as well to your first competition prep to now, I mean, you said who wants to see a 60-year-old in a bikini? But then you said, well, it's an athletic thing. It's a shape, it's a physique, it's the muscle, it's the accomplishment, it's the drive. So, and this differed because previously you did bodybuilding, so maybe it was seen in a different light than say bikini, but how has your view on fitness and physiques changed over the years as a result of going from women's bodybuilding to women's bikini?
Oh, um, yeah, I think when I was competing well, the two shows that I did in bodybuilding, I was too small for bikini now. I mean,
Yeah.
they've just grown. And I think, and that's good. That's okay because,
Mhm.
everything's impossible until somebody does it, right?
Yeah.
And then
Right.
it's not. But it's really grown in that way, which I like. I think they both look athletic. And I think to get that look, you have to be athletic. I mean, put me under a bar. I mean, there's nothing cute about it. It's every man for himself, and you're just trying to survive. Um, so that's what you have to do, in order to gain the muscle to define or to shape you, or to get to the goal that you're looking for. So it's all athletic, has been since the start, but I think we put more into it. It's more fine-tuned. And then of course the categories, the divisions have changed so much where, you're going to look more of, the wider shoulders for the figure and the tiny waist. And then bikini, we need more of a butt, and bodybuilding just big, that type of thing. So
Yeah, it's fascinating how much even aesthetically or criteria wise things have changed. And because everybody's gotten better and standards have gotten higher, and also things like suits, makeup, hair, tan have also been perfected, there is a different level of, probably not the best word for it, but scrutiny that athletes are under because it's more competitive. You really have to stand out in a particular way. But at the end of the day, it's bodybuilding. It's about the physique that you're bringing on stage. So this might be a strange question, but I've been dying to know.
Mhm.
Is there anything you know now that you wish you knew then? And is there anything you knew then that you wish was still known or known about now?
Yeah, so if I can do it all over again, you know, I would stay with it because I think your body just gets better and better.
Mhm.
But I did a bunch of lapses of time in the gym, and so my body changed, and I wish it wouldn't. Sorry, that's my boyfriend's cat. It's very loud.
I was like, is that a child?
This cat. He never used to talk last year. Now he can't stop
He's
talking.
like, I am coming on the podcast if you like it or
He's
not.
got something to say about this. But I wish I had stayed with it. And probably because of my gymnastic background, it would have been good if I had stayed in fitness, because fitness would
Mhm.
have been fun for me. Um, I think I wish we would have known more about good, healthy food back then. Like I said, it was very restricted. And then for now, I don't know. I think now is perfect. I don't know if there would be anything that I would change, because
Yeah.
you can eat a variety of stuff.
Yeah.
You can work out. You've got, like I said, the YouTubes. You can entertain yourself constantly. Um, back then we had the magazines. I did like magazines and
Yeah,
reading
I
them.
do.
That was kind of fun. That would be nice to have that back again. But really, I think I just love now. Now is just perfect. And it's just going to get better and better as we discover more and more. But yeah, and I think it's more accepted now, because back then there was like a couple bodybuilding shows here and there. But I would like to see it more televised. I know they have the live streams, but I would love to have more televised
Yeah,
bodybuilding.
I think that
Mhm.
would be super awesome too.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
think just
Yeah.
bringing that level of awareness and exposure to it. You
Mhm.
found it, bodybuilding, or not found it, but you got back into it because of a magazine cover. So imagine, like, and then social media has brought so many people into it. Imagine what that exposure can do for creating healthier
Mhm.
lifestyles, especially like if there's anything people need right now, it's routine, structure, exposure to a challenge that's not
Yeah.
immediately gratifying, and health.
Yeah, thank you for bringing up health. That is so important, because so you had mentioned this before, on another podcast, about loving every side of the bodybuilding phase. So the off season, where you're growing and you're discovering more about yourself and loving your body, and then getting ready for the prep, which, spiritually, prep can bring out everything in you, because you discover things that you didn't even know you had in you. And so all of these beautiful seasons that you have, really help you. And I think it's really helped the sport, because people are enjoying all aspects of it, instead of always being the one, I'm on stage now and then I disappear. I'm on stage now, I'm disappearing. So it's nice to see the whole gamut from start to finish.
Agreed. Yeah, it's so important to recognize the importance of both of those phases
Mhm.
as almost one. It's a unified process. It can't be one or the other. And with less extreme approaches now, that's a lot easier
Ah, yeah.
versus when you were in it. Of course, if you're only eating chicken and broccoli, you're about ready to eat that ice cream getting off the stage.
And everything else that you can find.
Right. Thank goodness we've evolved in that. And, it's amazing too to hear you say that's like perfect as it is now, because again, I'll re-emphasize this point. I'm now 10 years in it, and it's even different from the last 10 years. But or I'm almost 10 years, I should say. But it's still different, and yet I can see sometimes now, a lot of the beauty of competing is complained about or taken for granted. It really is a blessing to be able to pursue this sport, to have this lifestyle, and your approach has evolved over the years. You also have experienced doing a show in your 30s, you've experienced doing a show in your 60s, you've experienced doing actual bodybuilding and then bikini bodybuilding. You've
Mhm.
seen the standards and the differences between those as well as in the industry. But one thing you said you would change is you wouldn't have taken as much time off for those hiatuses.
Mhm.
What was going on in your life personally when you were stepping away from the stage?
I think just life. I got married and I would do some running here and there. Um, I did well before that martial arts. I did martial arts for a while. And so I kept myself busy with those things and working. And then, but something was always missing that I did know. But the back of my mind, I thought, bodybuilding, it's not just getting on your bike and riding 10 miles and then going out to dinner with friends. Bodybuilding, if you're really going to do it and you want to compete, because I do like to compete because it pushes me to a different level. So I have, I feel like I want to compete. Then you have to take that extra step. And so that extra step is the weighing of the food, getting certain food, making sure you're at the gym, doing certain exercise. I mean, it just starts snowballing into something much larger. I love that, but I don't know if I was ready for it back then to redo that. And so I think it's been a mental process as well as a physical process. I'm ready for it now. I've done very well with my career, as a nurse. I've done a lot of different things as a nurse, and while I like that definition of myself that I've done well, um, I don't want that to be my defining moment. I want to do something for myself, which is making myself better mentally, physically, on that end. And so I'd like to have a type of hobby that, is different from my work. Some people absolutely love their work, and, people who do what they love never work a day in their life, right? That wasn't me. Nursing is hard labor. It's very, very difficult, very stressful. But I was put there for a reason that I know, because there's no way I would have picked where I am right now um, by any means. There's nothing sexy about head and neck cancer. Um, People don't gravitate towards that as far as a career, but I was put there, and I think I've done very well. Been fortunate enough to work with the best doctor in the world, I think, and we help a lot of people. And I am able to make a difference every single day with my career, which is fantastic. So I get self actualized in that way. But I come home and I think, okay, now what can I do for me? And I do know there have been times in my life when I haven't taken care of myself, and I thought, I don't like that feeling. And that feeling it's not just a little feeling, oh, I don't like that feeling. It hits me hard and it sits with me. And it's taken years for that to happen, where I've identified that I don't like that feeling. I don't like being in that moment. So I prevent it by doing something that I think is something special, like making sure I go to the gym, making sure I'm competing in bodybuilding or, moving towards that avenue. So I have something for myself. And then I have been given a gift from God. And so I'm also doing that for my career. So I've got two things that really support what I want to accomplish in life. Then, of course, I want to retire.
Yeah,
Absolutely want to retire and sleep in.
that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, what does a normal week look like for you right now?
Oh my gosh. Oh, Celeste. Everyone laughs at me, but and I don't know how I've done it, but this is what I
Mhm.
do. I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I work out. So I have to sit for about 30 minutes to get my back, like the mobility fixed,
Okay.
So I have my coffee from 3 to 3:30, whatever. Then I get to the gym and I do my workout. And if there's cardio, and then I rush home, get ready for work. I work from like 7:30 to 5:30. It used to be a lot longer. So I
Yeah.
work out in the morning. People are like, why do you get up so early? Because at night, I never know when I'm going to get out. And so there was a
Yeah.
time when I was getting out very late at work. It's much better now. So I get out at 5:30 ish. Then I come home and I spend some time with my dog. I live with my sister, so that's been a gift. And and then I get ready for bed. And so I'm in the meantime, you're either posing or one night you're posing and next night you're cooking food. There's eating involved. There's check-ins. There's always something to do with bodybuilding. And so that's usually Monday through Friday. And then Saturdays, I spend with my boyfriend, Scott. And that's like a vacation. Every weekend I'm at his house and it's just like a vacation. I relax. He takes good care of me. There's a lot
Oh,
of cooking. We do meal prep together, and it's the funniest thing. He's a connoisseur of tilapia now. And
mm,
he doesn't, yeah. So he grills that, and we make it a family affair.
wow.
But yeah, that's so it's it's very hectic week. I don't get enough sleep like I should. This month, which August, this month, I've taken some time off. I call it my wellness month,
Oh,
where I've been able to get enough sleep, kind of center myself and figure out, how I can take better care of myself without, with less than, 5 hours of sleep and all of that. So trying to improve on how I do processes, you know.
yeah. That makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Well, there's a lot of consistency, that's for sure.
Yeah, kind of craziness too.
Well, I think it's great that you have balance of other things that you enjoy though, and you obviously love bodybuilding because it's a way to pour into yourself, your health, your overall
Yeah.
well-being, mentally
Right.
and physically. And then you brought up your boyfriend Scott. You've been with him for 9 years and
Mhm.
he didn't know you as the bodybuilder, but you did present it to him and you said that you were surprised that he was so supportive about it. What surprised you about his support?
Because a lot of people make fun of bodybuilding. They right away think of the big guys
Yeah, true.
lugging around water.
We
You
do
know,
that. We just
we do that too, but they're prettier containers. Anyway, but and then like how much was it going to take away from his time? He has never ever complained about that. He has never said, "Oh, you have to go to the gym." He's always said, "What time will you be here? Are we cooking this weekend? Do you have to do extra cardio?" It's never been that I've had to argue or hide something or camouflage something. It's always been with open arms and such graciousness that and he's learning about it. He thinks it's fascinating. He's a big golfer, and so we golf together
yeah.
sometimes. And but I was very surprised because for somebody who knew so little about this sport, that they he just opened his heart and mind to how fun it could be. He makes fun of me, of course, because he knows that I'm just this obsessed person that, got to weigh this and weigh that. And we make bets on how much of a burger patty he weighs. And,
Yeah.
it's like, we make little games of these things. But yeah, so I was surprised at that. And so it was such a nice surprise. And he's really championed my whole, year and a half, 2 years now, of competing. And he knows there's going to be an off season, meaning there's going to be a growth season and a season where we can have wine together. We're making plans, to have more dinners together and things like that, out.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love it. I mean, he just makes it, and it's always about positive. Like, you're going to look great. You're going to do great. That color is going to look the best on you. Your hair is beautiful. He just keeps on telling me wonderful things. And then he'll go and buy me a dozen roses. And I'm like, what was that for? Well, because. And I'm thinking,
I
where
love
did
this
this
guy.
man come from? He's just, yeah, I don't even know. But I am so grateful to have him in my life.
Wow, that makes me want to cry. I love hearing that. There's so many women who do not get that treatment,
I
but
know.
deserve it.
Yes, and I've been very lucky. When I hear about people who don't get the support at home, I have to shake my head because the support has never been. And usually, what I want to tell people is everybody will make fun of you. Everybody will um, be naysayers until you actually get on stage and compete, and they see that. And then they have nothing to pick on because you did everything you said you were going to do when you did it. Just shut them up for that one time. And then
Mhm.
it gets easier and easier. It really does. But the first show is always the hardest because people around you are going to say, but you can have, I can't believe you can't have one. Is it really going to make that much of a
Yeah.
difference? No, no, that cupcake will not make the difference. But you know what? Mentally, it does. And now what? What else are we going to slide on?
Mm,
So you want to make yourself mentally tough. And then that carries you through life. Let me tell you,
for
that
sure.
carries you through anything. You could be in an Armageddon and the bodybuilders will survive because they're like, well, shit, I've eaten this before and I can survive that. Uh, because of what your mind has told you can and can't do. And then that's what I love about bodybuilding is my gosh, what that translates everywhere in your life.
I could not agree more.
Mhm.
I have been doing this for a long time now too, and I've noticed the impact it has on every area of life. And also, I've pursued other things while competing, and I've seen the impact of that being so positive. So I agree there's going to be naysayers. It's pretty much a given, and there's going to be a lot of conversations you have to have. I also think it's unfair to expect everybody to be supportive. I think it's great though when you have that supportive partner, especially that can go a long way. I have been with a partner who was incredibly good at putting me down and not lifting me up. And I was like, this is not it. This is just not the way it's going. So I've experienced both, and that was horrible, honestly. So I really feel for the women who are in those situations, whether it's extreme or it's minimal, it still happens and it's not great. But what I find fascinating and I want to know more about, does Scott live this lifestyle too? I know you said he's an avid golfer, but does he also do like lifting? And it sounds like he meal preps with you. Is he eating the meal preps?
No, that is the funniest part about this whole thing is he does go to the gym and okay, here's the funniest thing about him. He eats junk food all the time.
Hmm.
Little Debbie's. Like now he eats good. Like he'll
Yeah.
eat his baked potato and steak and whatever else, and
Yeah.
burgers. But he'll have the Little Debbie's cakes. He's got a bin of chocolate that, he's got to have a chocolate treat after dinner.
Uh-huh.
And so he made a joke one time because we were going up the stairs to get to the cardio machine. And he goes, well, it looks like it's leg day because he did one set of going up the stairs one time. Meanwhile, 2 hours later, I'm still working on my legs.
That's
Make
awesome.
jokes like that, which I think is funny because it's such an opposite of me.
Totally.
So he'll do like some, and I've helped him, like when I've said, okay, you can work on your back, do this and this machine, but then he does his own thing, I do my own thing, but never a judgment like you're doing too much, or don't you think that's a little excessive, or don't. He's just like, what time are you going to be home? So it's nice. But he is a big golfer, and he is on that end cleaning his golf clubs, scrubbing them, shining them,
Uh-huh.
looking at the balls, marking the balls. He has this robotic memory of, well, on the fifth hole, when I did my chip and then I did I had four, and he remembers numbers. He remembers my numbers. I'm thinking,
Wow.
I can only count 8 to 15 because I'm doing reps, right? That's all I can count. He's remembering fairways and putting greens and the lay of the grass. And I'm like, genius. But that's his genius. Bodybuilding gyms that's my genius.
That's awesome.
Mhm, mhm.
He gets
Yeah,
it to his
yeah,
degree of getting it, and you get it to your
yeah.
degree of getting it too, and that's wonderful. I love to hear that, and I think it creates a very positive influence to have that support,
Mhm.
whether they
Yeah,
live the lifestyle or not, just knowing that
right.
you support it. And he has his own passions too. So
Yeah.
something I also was wondering about, how did competing at 60, because I know I'm going back to this point I've already made about the bikini thing. Has it changed your view on age or on yourself or the way you view your body?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's interesting because when I was competing in figure and I was my 45, I was like
Yeah.
45-ish. And I thought, well, that's old.
Huh.
And what am I going to think about, when I'm 70? Like, I should have done that at 60. Why didn't I do that at 60? I was able bodied. I should have competed, or I should have at least tried. And that's what I started thinking about.
Mhm.
And now I didn't even have to think twice about it because the ages are getting higher and higher. And Renee,
Yeah.
72, I mean, they're just this past year, Betty Parisio made a 65 and over category in the
Awesome.
Dallas show. And I thought, well, that's another bump up. This is great. So number one, I think it's fantastic that they're doing that. I feel really good about it because I think the women are becoming their own after they raise their children. Now they get grandchildren. Now they want to be part of something bigger. That's number one. Number two, as far as your body, it's amazing what you can do with your body. Now, let's say you don't get in a bikini. Forget the bikini. Can you go up and down stairs? Can you sit down and stand up without getting help? Can you walk across the street without being scared that you're not going fast enough?
Hmm.
If you had to move fast to get out of the way of something, can you move without breaking a hip? There's so many things that this sport helps you with. And even if you didn't want to do this sport, you've got to lift weights. You just
Mhm.
have to. You know, doctors say you got to drink water, you got to lift weights. This is how you're going to live. Now, you don't have to do any of it. Let's say we don't do any of it. Well, then your last many years of life are not going to be pleasant. At least make it pleasant. Could you imagine? Just look around, people just trying to make it to their car, or they can't even get out of their car. They have to have Instacart or whatever it's called.
Mhm.
Um, that's powerful when you look at how much control you have. Now there are diseases, and there's horrible things that happen that people sometimes can't do it, and it has nothing to do with lifting weights or their will. It has to do with a disease process. So I get that. You can only do what you can do. But if you have control over something, you've got to take control because you know, you got to take care of yourself. You don't know if anyone else is going to take care of you. Medicine, let me tell you, I'm a nurse. Medicine is changing. They want you out of the hospital because they only want the very, very critical people. So what does that have? So let's look back way back when you had a baby, you were in the hospital for days. Now they send you home the same day. Take your child, go home and feed them. Then all of a sudden, hip surgery. You're going home from hip surgery within a day. That's a big deal. So you better be on point in order to make sure you can take care of yourself medically, because they're not keeping you in the hospital very long anymore. So keep that in mind. You want to be able to take care of yourself as much as possible. Everybody needs help at some point, but keep that in mind.
Such a great message and a great point. It's an encouraging point too, even for people who are younger to stay with this lifestyle. Doesn't
Mhm.
mean you always have to compete, but the competing lifestyle itself is very healthy. We go to extremes that arguably are not too healthy.
Mhm.
um, but at the end of the day, the lifestyle itself is very healthy. The things that
Yes.
we demand of our bodies. It's not asking too much. It's when we stop demanding from our body that our body is like, "Mm, that's enough for me. Don't need to do this anymore. Thank you." And like you said, as women get older too, we need to maintain healthy bones,
Okay.
muscle mass. It's important, even men too. It's so important. So that was such a great message and a great reminder. And I think
Mhm.
you also being a working woman, a working masters competitor, there's this ongoing narrative, it seems, that masters competitors are retired and that's why they're able to do this. And others who are considerably masters category who are not retired yet, will say, well, I can't do it because I still have grandchildren who are seeing me. I still have kids who need me. I still have this job. But you're an example that you can still work full time, you can maintain a relationship, and you can compete as a masters competitor and earn a
Mhm.
pro card and compete in the IFBB.
Mhm. Yeah, it's difficult. It is very difficult. And depends on what your job is. My job, I consider my job very difficult because I need to be 110%
Mhm.
every day. And I've got a great team, of nurses around me. So it makes it better. Um, but it's tough. And you have to, again, preparation, planning, you have to kind of go overboard. So for example, I have to plan so far in advance that when I look at, say, somebody's birthday and I need to get them a gift, I can't just simply say, I'm going to go get them a gift. It's when is their birthday? When will I have time to shop special for them? I don't want just, and I just can't drop and go after work because the stores might be closed. So it's like, okay, this birthday's in September. I'm looking in August.
Mhm.
Something as simple as that has to be planned out. If I take a day off of work, that day is filled with oil change,
Yeah.
hair, um, more grocery shopping, yeah, all those things. And we
Yeah.
all do that. All of us that are working do that. But yeah, work is getting in the way of my bodybuilding for sure.
Yeah, this work thing. Get out of the way.
Help
Oh.
me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, it's so important to have hobbies outside of work for that exact reason, though, I
Yeah.
think.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it definitely makes a difference because I have something to look forward to. That's my own thing.
That's right. So you said that you're competing in a week and a half. So obviously when this episode comes out, that will be long gone. You'll already have stepped on stage. So what are you focusing on right now to be ready for that show?
Oh my gosh. It's the final push. So this week
Yeah.
is the final push, and then it's peak week next week. So we just got a little bit of changes. I have to up my cardio a little bit, and I got a little bit of my fats taken away, and yeah, boo-hoo.
I
But
know.
but that's the fun of it. Like, how
Yeah.
can I make this um exciting, fun, something different? Let's see what my body does with this. So yeah, so I'm getting excited for it. One of the things that I really, everyone wants a medal, everyone wants a trophy. But one of the things that I thought about when I was coming back, and really wanting a pro card is the camaraderie of the women. I saw it. You could just feel their joy and their happiness with being in a community, and I can't wait to meet them all. So hopefully at Masters I'll meet a bunch of them that I've been, you know talking to on social media, and that will be fun because it's just nice to know other people that are doing your thing at your age. And so that's what I'm getting ready for, is meeting people, getting to know them better, seeing what it's like on a different stage, and learning more about myself. That's for sure.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful. Love that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is an exciting time, and
What do you want to accomplish now that you're a pro?
my gosh. Well, first I'm going to just sit in it because it's still, I think I've been a pro for what, 50 days or something like that. I mean, it hasn't been long. So the thought that I even got it, it still has not settled with me. So, and it's funny because when you contacted me and I contacted you about this, I thought, what do I know? I hear about, your podcast. These people have world of knowledge about the pro stage and all this stuff. What do I know? Nothing. All I know is that I am just so grateful, and it's been so much fun so far. And I think what I'd want to accomplish is what I got out of looking at other people is,
Hmm.
I want to be a catalyst for somebody to help them get to another level, or their purpose in life, or their potential. I want to be that person that they say, hey, so and so, or Joanna helped me just by showing me this. Now I'm doing this. And it doesn't have to be competing. It could be anything. It could be just feeling better about themselves, or I didn't realize I could do this. So definitely, that would be one thing that I would like to do, is just be a little bit like a stepping stone for somebody else that can reach their potential.
I'm hopeful that after this podcast interview too, you'll get some messages saying
Yes,
that
that'd
it
be
was
nice.
inspiring and that they learned from you. Because,
I hope so.
yeah, it's been awesome talking to you. And I like to get your best advice. So, what would be your best advice for someone who has never competed before but wants to? And then your best advice for someone on their road to pro?
Well, the easy one is the new one. Okay, so anyone who hasn't competed, just do it. Do
Yeah.
it at least once. And the reason is, for many of the reasons that we picked out here in the interview, is number one, you learn so much about yourself. If you never do it again, that's okay, but you learn about yourself. Other people learn about you. You are so grateful for so many things, grateful for extra time when you're not working out. You're grateful for food. So you're limited on a lot of food. Well, all of a sudden, like when you do have that extra something, whatever it is, chips or whatever, the ice cream that we talked about, um, you really appreciate it. You appreciate all the tiny little things in life, because you've held back for a while. So that's what I love about that. And then keep a journal, because I tell you right now, you will be in the midst of your prep, and you will be like, I will never look good. I look horrible. What was I thinking? I'm quitting. I'm going to quit, quit, quit. But if you write that in your journal, after you're done and you look back, you're like, oh my gosh, look what happened in those 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Look how much I changed, and look how much better of a person I became. So anyone do it. Do the show, keep a journal during the show. Um, Be present, get people involved. That would be the best advice, because I really think it translates into the rest of your life too, as far as how you do other things in your life and how you prepare. So that's one. And as far as Road to Pro, I have no right to give any kind of, road to, I just became a pro. So just do it because you want to be part of a great community. Do it because you want to be the best possible person you can be. That's, I really don't know if I can give advice, because I'm trying to learn. I'm definitely always learning. And maybe that's it. Just never feel like you know everything. Never feel like you know enough. Always look for something more that you can learn about yourself or about the sport. Um, it just makes you better and better.
That's amazing. I love that. You definitely exemplify the stay learning mentality and the gratitude piece.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love everything that you've said, going back to 90's bodybuilding to now. It's awesome just to hear this progression and this story and everything that you've shared with us today. So I want other people to be able to thank you as well. So how can everybody connect with you?
Oh, thank you very much. So I'm on Facebook, Joanna Bolt. And then Instagram, it's Joanna Bolt _ IFBB Pro.
Awesome. Okay. And we'll put that in the show notes page. So you guys, that's always on celestial.fit/podcast. If you're listening right away, it'll be at the top of that page. If you're listening later in the future, scroll down to the category section. It'll be alphabetized. You'll be able to find the episode there, not just with the links to connect, but also a full summary of the episode, bulleted list of topics we covered, and episode timestamps so you can share it with your friends, your family, your teammates, let them know why you loved the episode, maybe what resonated with you. And of course, we always appreciate when you tag us that you listened or you reach out to the athletes. It goes such a long way. So thank you in advance for that. And Joanna, thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much, Celeste. I just love what you do, love you, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Love you back. Stay on with me. And to everybody listening, I hope y'all have an amazing rest of your day, night, or morning, wherever you are in the world while you're listening to this episode. Just make it awesome.